name is Nadia, and you're watching A Cozy Knitting Corner. This is a knitting podcast where I talk about yarn and knitting projects. We are at episode 3. Welcome. Let's get started. Finished objects. Since last time, I have no one. That's why I brought some old finished objects. I have in my first episode, which was kind of an introduction, mentioned that I have been knitting teddy bears, and I will show you one. And when I picked this unicorn up from my daughter's room, I found out that the ponytail here was broken. Some of the yarn threads simply fell off. When I reached my crafty room in my basement, look what I found. A leg is missing. Some of the legs are broken. Also maybe some bite damages, and I think I know who did it. It must be my little puppy, Carlo. So now I will keep this downstairs and pick up some stitches. Knit some new legs, because I have more of this yarn left. I can also easily attach the new ponytail. This is a pattern by Creajunkie. You can get the pattern in English, and it's called EnSlowHjørning. It's a unicorn. You knit it almost seamlessly. You start here and knit the sweater, pick up stitches underneath the sweater, and you knit the legs. Afterwards you pick up stitches in top of the sweater, and then you knit the head. This little, what is it called? On a unicorn, you knit separately, and then you join this part and this part, and then you knit the rest of the head. You also pick up stitches for the ears, and for this, I missed the English word, I'm sorry. I don't remember what it's called. But you pick up stitches for this and for the ears. The only thing you are going to sew on is the unicorn. The thing in the forehead. You knit this separately and then you sew it on. Afterwards, you attach some yarn threads here and here and embroider the eyes. I have knitted this some years ago for my daughter. It's knit in acrylic yarn with glitter. It is a little, what do you call it? It's used. She's been using it. Unfortunately, not so much lately, so it was on the floor and the puppy has eaten the legs. I have recently knitted a new one. I don't have it anymore. I gifted it to my niece, but I will insert a picture. It's knitted in the same yarn. It's acrylic yarn. I don't know if you can see, it's glittery. It's from a grocery store here in Denmark called Netto. They often have, what do you call that? Non-grocery foods, like yarn and other stuff. And I bought that yarn in that store and knitted. I just thought the glitterness was so beautiful. This is pastel-y like yarn. The other one was more dark, but also glittery. I can really recommend this pattern for a teddy bear. Do you call it that when it's a unicorn? I can recommend this pattern. It's not difficult at all. Of course I have not followed the English pattern. I followed the Danish pattern, but I assume that the English pattern is not difficult either. It's very easy to follow. It can be a little fiddly knitting the legs. I'm knitting magic loop. I don't like DPNs, but you knit each leg separately in the round, and then you seam it here in between. The legs, they have no fillings. I have seen on Instagram and other places that some people are putting fillings, stuffing into the legs also, but the pattern does not recommend that, so I didn't do it. I think it's cute that they are, flappy. A little unicorn, a teddy bear for a little girl, for my daughter, but the other one was for a little girl. I am most likely knitting more of these. The designer, Creajunkie, she has a lot of creatures like this, more or less seamless, or more or less, what do you call it when you're not gonna sew every little piece together. She has a lot. I have also knitted the one called Slow Rex, I think it's a dinosaur, for my son, and I have knitted the elephant. I have not yet knitted the Slow Juleman. It's a Santa Claus, but I have the pattern because the elephant I test knitted for Creajunkie, and I received 2 patterns as a thank you, and EnSlowHjørning was the one pattern I chose, and I think it's called Baby Olka, the other one I chose. Some of the new patterns she just released is a bunny, slow bunny, and a slow moose. I love the slow moose. I think I will insert a picture. I definitely will knit that. I think it's so cute. Yeah, that's one of my old finished objects I could show you now that I don't have any new objects to show you, or projects. The other project, it's a big one. It's a sweater, not for me, but for my husband. It's unfortunately a discontinued pattern. And I think I might be wrong, but I think the pattern only is also written in Norwegian. I have at least followed the Norwegian pattern. I have knitted this sweater for my husband, and it took me 3 years. Not that it was difficult, but because I just simply lost steam on it. It is an all over colorwork sweater. I think it's on 4.5 millimeters, maybe 4, but I think 4.5. So it's moving relatively fast, but I lost steam in between. Every year, my husband and his best friend is hiking on a little island here in Denmark called Ærø. And when was it? Was it in Corona times? Maybe the year before? I don't remember. It must be the year before 2019. I bought the pattern. I think it was an ad or an email, something directing me to this Garnius website where I bought the kit. That means the pattern and the yarn. And my thought was he could wear this the following year in June for their trip, the hiking trip. The next year, 2020, it was no near finished. And to this year, we are in 2023, and I finished it in time for their trip in June. It's a pattern called Lothepus Sandhaug Genser. I have not yet sewn in a button, 2 buttons actually, but here it is. It's an all over colorwork sweater. It's knit from the bottom and up in the round until you reach where the sleeves are put in, then you knit it back and forth. It's only this little, yes, called also lice in English. It's not that much of a color work to knit in on the wrong side, so it was okay. The sleeves are knitted separately and then sewn on, and you pick up stitches here and knit the color afterwards. But yeah, it's an all over colorwork sweater, and if I would have been knitting on this non-stop, I think I could have finished it in 2-3 months maybe. But it took me 3 years. I'm so very, very proud of this project. I mean, I think it's beautiful, and it's just beautiful. I'll insert a picture of my husband wearing it. It grew a little bit in blocking, not much, but a little bit. So it's actually right now, just a little bit too big for him, but he's wearing it and he likes it. When I casted this on, I bought a kit. I mentioned I bought a kit with yarn and the pattern, and I bought the size large without thinking, without measuring him and anything. He's normally a size large. And I cast on my sample, my gauge watch. It's called a gauge watch. I cast it on my gauge watch as the sleeve. And I knitted and knitted. And I think I have, this much of a sleeve. I tried it on. Me and my husband we are not similar in size, but more or less. I can fit his clothes. So I put on this sleeve, and it was just hanging here. Really, really big. And I thought, that is a little big. And then I again checked my gauge. It was okay. Then I tried it on my husband, and it was really big. And then I looked in the pattern, and I measured my husband, and I compared to the measurements in the pattern. And it turned out that he was a Norwegian size medium, or at least this pattern, he was a size medium. So I unraveled the sleeve, my gauge swatch, and started over in a size medium. So I'm glad I did, because it is a bit big, a little bit too big for him. So if I have knitted it this in large, it would have been massively big. The yarn I used was a kit, as I mentioned. Here are the colors. It's a yarn from the yarn brand Dale or Dale yarn, and it's called Natural Lanolin Wool. Lanolin wool. And I think when I found out that this, you could not get this pattern or this kit anymore at Garnius, I researched a little bit, and I think the reason is that this color here, the orange, is discontinued. And because it's, when the pattern is knit up in a color you can't get anymore, they remove it. I think the other colors you can get, but if you can't get the pattern, no, I haven't succeeded finding it. Maybe you can, if you want to knit it, have a little bit of luck. The designer name is, I've written it down, one moment, Bente Præsterud Røvik. And And she has designed also other Lothepus Gensers. So she has designed a lot of other similar looking Gensers or sweaters, but you can't get a hold of this one. Yeah. That was it for this time for old finished objects. So what is on my needles? Last time I showed you the Eloise scarf. I have not touched it since, so I'm not going to show you that. And I also showed you a lot of socks, and the North Cape socks was knitted in the wrong color changing section. This is my North Cape socks now. Just frogged it before filming this episode. It's gonna be a new pair of North Cape socks, but for now, a frog project. I will reknit it. But I also showed you a Sophie Shawl in yak wool, and I have made quite some progress on that. Here it is in all its glory. It's just a garter stitch shawl by the designer PetiteKnit, and I'm not quite there yet, but I have engaged swatched. And you know I'm using this yak wool from Shein in the color beige. This is not the same dyelet. It's actually clear also on screen. That's why I'm combining them, and it gives me this. I think you cannot see this is two different colors. I cannot, at least. But yeah. I have engaged swatched. I'm knitting it on the 5mm needle. My Lykke needles. Driftwood, the color driftwood. As the pattern is suggesting 5mm, and what you knit a certain amount of increases, and then you start decreasing. I think I have 20, maybe a little more than 20 decreases. I have a 20 left of them, and then I have to turn and increase. So I have enough yarn. I actually have a lot of yarn because I'm still on the first two skeins or balls. I'm still on the first two balls. I haven't weighed this, but I am assuming I haven't even used half of them. Not yet. So I have a lot of yarn. So maybe I will knit this a little bigger than the pattern is telling. Just keep on going and then turn and increase when I think it's big enough. It will be a nice squishy shawl for winter, and yeah, it is coming. It's November now, so winter is coming, and I'm looking forward to wearing this. I knit on this almost every day. I bring it in the car when I'm driving my daughter to her volley practice twice a week, and I'm knitting on it because it's just garter, it's back and forth, not much thinking to do. I love a good garter project, really I do. So that I have been knitting on and making progress. And I have also been making progress on the hookworms socks. Now you actually can see the pattern a little bit better. It's creating this structured pattern on the front of the sock. It's a chateau wrap heel in the same noisy color as the toe. This one I only had one ball of 50 grams. Right now I have 31 grams left, and I weighed it just before I started the chart, and a full chart is 3 grams. So I could knit a few more chart repeats and then finish it with a colorful ribbing. So they are also moving forward or getting progress. It's not the project that I'm knitting on the most. It's not a, what do you call it? Danish word is pligtstrik. Well, I can't think of the word. But I'll have to tell myself to knit on this. So it's more or less like that. I will have to tell myself to knit on this also, because otherwise I would just knit on the Sophie Shawl and on my Magnolia chunky cardigan. You guys, you should look at this. Last time when I recorded, I have just cast on and knitted 2 rows, I think, of the ribbing. But look at it now. I have put on and separated for sleeves and body and knitted a little bit here. In the pattern you should start the chart right below the separation of the sleeve, but it's a cropped cardigan in the pattern, and I don't want mine to be cropped, so I have continued back and forth in stockinette stitch, and I will do that for I think 18-20 rows before I start the chart, and hopefully it will have just the perfect length for me. So next time I think I'm finished with the body, maybe not with the button band, but with the body, and have started 1 sleeve, maybe 2. I don't know when I will record next time, but this is my happy project. This really, I love this project, and I have been knitting a lot on this, but I think at least the same amount of knitting hours went into the Sophie Shawl. But it's the 5.5 millimeter. I'm knitting this on my Knit Pro Symphony needles, and I love the Knit Pro Symphony needles. That's my favorite knitting needle. It must be the 5.5 millimeters. Making this happen so fast. That's nice. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. It is very soft. I have shown you last time, but for new viewers, I'm knitting it in this yarn called Kos from Sandhaug yarn. I don't know if the color is discontinued, because I bought this on as a pre-owned yarn. It's color 2533, mustardy yellow. Don't know if you can get that anymore. Yeah, but it's very soft. It's alpaca, baby alpaca, wool and nylon. Actually, I don't know if it's a blown yarn, or I think it is. It looks like a chain. Yeah, it must be a blown yarn. It's more or less like drops air, if any one of you know that, but it's very soft. And I think it's gonna be very warm also. So this is really my happy project, and I'm knitting on it also every week. So the 3 projects I've shown you now is what I'm working on at the moment. This one, my Sophie Shawl, and the hookworm hookworm socks. Yeah. That was actually all of my knitting projects. I mentioned last time that I have won one of the smaller prizes in this October knit-along, hosted by Wool Collective, but I haven't picked it up yet, but I have now. And I have just, before this, filmed my Danish podcast episode, and I found out that the petroleum color is not going to be shown right on the screen. But isn't it beautiful? This is my prize that I picked out. I just love it. Here you can see the Danish brand, Wool Collective. As I mentioned last time, unfortunately they don't ship out of Denmark. But because of the colors here, I will insert a picture on the screen, and there you can see the real colors. This is gonna be a beautiful pair of socks. Maybe colorwork, maybe stripes, but also maybe just vanilla and contrasting heel and toe. I don't know. What do you think? Do you have a beautiful pattern for colorwork socks or stripy socks? They deserve a beautiful pattern. So yeah, I would like to show you. Now I have received it. Yeah, then I also mentioned last time that in my Danish podcast I have talked about this problem I have finding the right knitting pattern for my body type. I have received a lot of suggestions and I would share them with you, I thought. So one of the suggestions, actually I received that twice. It was the Elton pullover by Jorge Locatelli. I'm not sure that it's gonna be a pattern I will knit up as one of the first ones, because the Elton pullover is an oversized boxy sweater. It's beautiful, but I don't think it's the one I'm looking for, but now I will consider it, and here it is. Then I also received, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 suggestions for PetiteKnit patterns. And I received a suggestion for the Louvre sweater. And I received a suggestion for the Marseille sweater. And for the Lyon sweater. For the Stockholm sweater. And for the No Frills sweater. They are more or less my taste, and I think it could turn out good. The Marseille sweater they suggested me because it looked like a sweatshirt I was wearing that day in my podcast. Yeah, all the patterns have sleeves you pick stitches up and knit, or you sew them on. Not raglan sweaters. I have not yet tried sweaters with the round yoke, but I have actually a pattern from a designer I also received 2 suggestions from. The designer is Danish, but her patterns is also in English. It's 50 Fabulous, Pia Trans, and I was suggested to look at Wrapped in Memories. It's a colorwork sweater. I'm not sure about that fit, but now I have it in my mind, and you could always skip the colorwork and just knit it in one color. And I was also suggested the sweater Svanike sweater. That's a beautiful one, and most of Pia's patterns are longer in the back and shorter in the front. She has short rows making it longer in the back. That's also something that I think is beautiful. And I have 2 of Pia's patterns already. I have not knitted them. I can't remember if I talked about the cardigan last time. perfect little cardigan by 50 Fabulous. I have that pattern. I think I will knit it soon, very soon. And I have the pattern Scrappy Striber, Scrappy Stripes. That's a t-shirt with a rounded yoke. So maybe a lot of people like that pattern. I think I should try it, and I think it's gonna be in sock yarn in blue colors. So yeah. But that was all for me. It's a short episode. I would just like to say hi, check in, show you my chunky Magnolia cardigan. Yeah, next time you will see some, what is it called? Next time I have maybe finished the chart, and you can see my progress. Until next time, bye.